Woo! Today is a good one. What's up everybody, Krysten Novak here. Thank you guys so much for tuning back into my channel. Today we are going to talk about how to calculate your macros. I'm going to go into full depth of how you're going to determine your protein, carbs, and fats so that you are in a maintenance level, and then you can determine if you want to add calories or cut calories based on your goals. So there are a couple of methods that you can utilize in order to determine your maintenance calories. Method number one is probably the most accurate method that you can do, but a lot of people don't actually like to utilize this method because it takes a little bit of time. This method is where you actually track what you are currently eating right now for about 2 weeks. So I don't want you to change anything at all. Just want you to get out a macro tracking app. This can be MyFitnessPal, MyMacros Plus. There are a couple other really good ones out there, and just start tracking what you're eating every single day. In addition to this, you actually want to track your body weight as well on a daily basis. Now, do not stress about the number on the scale. This is simply data that you're going to use so that you can determine your maintenance calories. Take it day by day, step by step. When you're going to weigh in every single day, you want to make sure that you are under very similar conditions. What do I mean by this? I mean that you weigh in on a daily basis in the morning, after going to the washroom, before drinking anything, and before eating anything. If you find that you have eaten and then you go to weigh in, you will see an inaccurate weigh-in. So make sure that you are weighing in under the same conditions. After the 2 weeks of tracking your calories and tracking your weight, what you're going to do is take the average of your caloric intake over the 14 days, and you're going to take the average of your total body weight over the 14 days. Based on the results, assuming that you don't actually see an increase in your weight, it is safe to say that the average intake that you just took is your maintenance calories. Now, if you find that your body weight has gone up or gone down, then you can adjust your average calories you just determined based on that. For example, if you find that maybe you went up maybe 1 to 5 pounds over the 2 weeks, what you want to do then is take the average calories that you just determined and minus out approximately 500 calories. This is going to actually put you into your maintenance calories, so it'll allow you to actually start maintaining weight at this caloric amount. If you find that you actually lost weight over the 2 weeks, then you want to actually add in approximately 500 calories to bring you up to your maintenance amount. Why do I say 500 calories? Well, as a rule of thumb, 3,500 calories equals 1 pound of body weight. So if you gained about a pound, you want to actually cut out 3,500 calories throughout your weekly energy expenditure. So if you take 3,500, you divide it by 7 days, this is actually 500 calories a day. Now, this isn't an exact science. People have allowed their metabolisms to adapt to actually change their maintenance calories amount. So this is just a rough estimate and just a generic recommendation. So that's method number one. Method number one takes about 2 to 3 weeks for you to actually fully complete. This is definitely the most accurate method out there for you determining your maintenance calories. But if you find that you're impatient and you just want to go, you just want to figure things out today, then you might actually want to consider implementing method number two. Method number two is just going to be a multiplier based on your lifestyle. Yes, it's definitely not as accurate, but it's going to allow you to determine your maintenance calories right now. A typical multiplier for you determining your maintenance calories is a range of 13 to 15. So you take about 13 and you times it by your current body weight, and that is your maintenance calories. That's it. That's simple. You can do this on the higher end of the spectrum where you times it by 15, or you can do it on the lower end of the spectrum where you times it by 30. If you find that you have a pretty sedentary lifestyle and you're sitting a lot at work, maybe 8+ hours a day, then you probably want to take it on the lower end of the spectrum. If you have a pretty demanding job where you're actually doing a lot of activity and you're on your feet all day, then it's wise to actually take it on the higher end of the spectrum. So just for example, let's say you're 120 pounds right now and you're looking to lose a few pounds. First step is you want to determine your maintenance calories based on this multiplier. Say you have a pretty demanding job where you're on your feet most of the day, we're going to actually use the higher end, which is 15. So we're going to take 120 pounds and times it by 15, and that's actually going to equal your 1,800 maintenance calories. So that's option number two. That's all it takes for you to determine your maintenance calories under that method. Next, I want to actually show you guys how you actually segregate out your macros based on your maintenance calories. So you put in the work in, you put in the time, and you determine what your maintenance calories are. Now you want to actually split this up so you can actually determine what your macros are, because your macros actually equal your total calories. When we're setting up our macros, we actually recommend that you start off with your protein targets first. It's important to note that for 1 gram of protein, that equals actually 4 calories. There is a threshold amount depending on if you are in a cutting phase or if you are in a bulking phase. For simplicity purposes, we're just going to use a generic recommendation. That is for you to have 1 gram of protein per pound of lean body mass. For you to determine your lean body mass, you actually want to determine your estimated body fat percentage. So let's assume that your lean body mass is actually 120 pounds. What you would do is you just take this times it by 1, and that is going to equal to your total grams of protein. So for this example, you would be consuming 120 grams of protein. This is actually now going to leave about 1,320 calories left over for us to allocate out to your fat and to your carbs. The next macronutrient that we want to actually determine is your fat allotment. So it's important to note that for 1 gram of fat, this is actually equal to 9 calories. Some people like to have a higher fat diet, some people like to have a higher carb diet, depending on what your preference is. It doesn't really matter how you separate this out, but we do recommend that you do have a minimum percentage of fat to ensure that you are actually getting a good amount of healthy fats. So as a rule of thumb, we recommend having at least 30% of your calories go towards your fat allotment. Since we've determined that you only have 1,320 calories left over, we're going to simply times this by 30% to get you your total fat. This is going to equal approximately 44 grams of fat, and this is going to leave us left over 925 calories. Last set of macronutrients that we want to utilize is your carb intake. So this one's the easiest one to determine. For 1 gram of carbs, this is actually equal to 4 calories. So if we take our total calories left over, divide it by 4, we are going to get our total carb intake for the day. This is equal to 230 grams of carbs. If you find that you want to have a little bit higher fats, then I recommend you increase your percentage from 30% to maybe 40, 50%, whatever you feel comfortable with, and this will decrease your carb amount. So that's it, you guys. That is how you set up your macros. Give it a try yourselves. It's not too difficult, it's not too hard, but I do want to note that this is a generic example, and it does work on most people who are completely new to tracking their macros and they haven't tracked their calories at all. However, for those who have been tracking for a while, this method might not be optimal for you. For example, I am currently consuming 2,500 calories and maintaining my weight roughly between 110 and 113 pounds. That's pretty small. If we go back to our example, which is around the same amount, my maintenance calories under this principle is estimated to be about 1,800 calories. But because I've been tracking my macros for so long, I've built up my metabolic capacity where I'm actually able to change my maintenance amount up to 2,500 calories. So just make sure you're aware of this and adjust your caloric intake to your body type and goals. Well, that about wraps up today's episode of Fit Tip Tuesday. I hope you guys found this helpful. I hope you guys can take something away from it and start tracking your macros on your own. I totally understand that having a coach is very helpful. It takes the process out of it. You don't have to think about it. You just have somebody telling you what to do. But you know what? Our biggest thing is being able to educate and teach people how to be able to do things on their own and be independent so that they can actually sustain this lifestyle. And let's face it, not hire and have a coach for the rest of your life. It's all about progress and moving forward, and what better way to do it than to actually challenge yourself and put yourself in the situation where you are forced to actually learn about this yourself. So thank you guys so much for watching. Couple of favors before you guys click off the video. Make sure you like, you comment, subscribe to the channel, you guys, and I will see you in the next one.